Hi everyone! Today I thought I will make a video which is something I haven't done in a while, so I haven't really done any illustrations, and I thought that would be fun to do. So before we get into that, I just wanted to show you something. So as you know, I have talked about my recent purchase of the Holbein watercolors, these three. They're the only Holbein watercolors that I have. It's the Brilliant Pink, Lilac and Shell Pink. And I have told you that unfortunately they're quite chalky and milky. And what I have decided to do is just see if I can somehow utilize them, because as they are, there's no way I can use them. They're just, they don't have that beautiful transparency that I love in watercolor. So I thought I will get my Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus inks out, because they're super concentrated, and see what I can do with it. I thought maybe I can jazz them up a little bit, make them a little bit more vibrant, and at least use them in that way. So here you can see that so this is the lilac swatch, this is the shell pink, and this is the brilliant pink. And in essence what I have done is I have taken two of the pinks from Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolors. So this is deep red rose, and this one is quinacridone magenta, and here they are swatched out in this order. So basically, if we first look at lilac, I have mixed it with deep red rose, and this is what came out. So these two together make this color, and then these two together make this color. And although the colors are quite pretty, and sort of you can see this one starts pulling towards a lilac, however the milkiness is still there. I do however find that the color becomes more interesting for sure, but like I said, I wish I could get more transparency out of Holbein, but of course, even if you take the most concentrated pigment and put it in there, it's never going to be like that. So anyways, so in here I have so this one is deep red rose with shell pink, which is this one. So these two together make this color. And then this one is brilliant pink and deep red rose, so these two make this color. And quite pretty color, this one, I find. This one. Okay, so like I was saying, the milkiness, if I just show you a close-up, so these are the Hydrus watercolors, and you can see how beautifully transparent and intense they are. And these were the original swatches of the Holbein colors, these three in the boxes. And you can see that although the colors became a little bit more interesting, however, depending on how much you add of the Hydrus into them, they become more vibrant. However, there is still that element of milkiness, especially in the shell pink I found. And you can see on the transparency test that I did here, so the second line is obviously nice and black, and then the one below is the line underneath the watercolor, which in most cases is becoming quite, this one is okay. So this was brilliant pink from Holbein and deep red rose from Hydrus. So, but I think in this case I added quite a bit of, I had a bit more of the deep red rose versus the brilliant pink, and this is perhaps why it didn't come out as milky as the others. and here you can see it's very opaque, obviously, because the line is not as black. And then as I was at it, I thought I will do the transparency test just in case separately here, because I could already see how beautifully transparent these colors were. But just to confirm it, here you can see the lines look identical, so they're completely transparent. Now I thought, while I was having this dilemma with the whites, I thought, why not try the Hydrus titanium white that came in the set that I purchased. And they claim to be transparent, so even this white claims to be transparent. So quite often you will see with any type of brand, regardless of how expensive, there are mistakes in their transparency info. So for example, here it is clearly that it's not a transparent white. As you can see, the first line is hardly visible in the first part, where I packed on a more softer watercolor and then diluted it with water later on, so like, you know, this type of swatch here. So yes, it's definitely not transparent. And of course, before I did this test, I went ahead and I mixed titanium white with deep red rose, and then I've done the same, but I had more. So in this case I had more titanium white and less deep red rose, and here it's the opposite. So I had a few more drops of the deep red rose and a lot less titanium white. So it's the same kind of two pigments, so it's this one and this one, but depending on how much I put, this is the color difference that you get. And you can see how very milky it is, and it has that typical chalky, can you see, instead of this beautiful kind of watercolor flow, you get this kind of chalky granulation almost. It is granulating. So that was interesting to see, that obviously from this transparency you suddenly go to this opaqueness, which, you know, I'm not too fond of. And then over here I've done the same, but with the quinacridone magenta. So in this case it's more of the titanium white, and here it's more of the quinacridone magenta. So this was a little transparency test, and it was quite interesting to just play around and see. And I haven't really played around with my Hydrus watercolors much, and especially the white I haven't tried before, so that was a good way to utilize it and just confirm that for mixing it with watercolors I would not do, but I would use it just as a white ink to either write with it or to add some details or highlights, in the same way that you use a gel ink pen. So let's go ahead and, oh yeah, before we go ahead, I just remembered I had some left over on my swatch. Just one second, I'll get this. It's that paper that I got, which is the palette paper, I think it's called, from Hobbycraft, and it's actually, I've been using it and it's really I really like it. It's very useful. So I had loads of mixes of colors left on here, and I thought, why don't I go ahead and just create some sort of illustration, and just started creating these whimsical flowers. And now we shall go ahead and do our girls that I enjoy doing, and we'll see what we come out with. And you can see how very opaque. I mean, if I looked at this, I would say it's gouache. I would never think that this was actually watercolor. So this very dark color right here is actually this super beautiful, one second, is this super beautiful deep red rose, which is incredibly transparent over here. It was mixed with a bit of the white titanium, and this is what I got, a completely opaque color. So I hope this was useful for you. So let's just go ahead and do some illustration together. Before we start with illustration, I just thought you might want to know where these cute stickers came from. So this is, I don't remember where the box came from, I honestly don't, but I kind of now put all of my watercolor tubes into here. And the stickers, however, I just got them yesterday. We went to Cambridge, and the paper chase in Cambridge has these lovely stickers, and this particular one I just couldn't walk past. They're incredibly cute. They're sort of this puffy type. They're raised, but they're not super thick, and if you see like that, hopefully, and they're kind of glossy and very, very pretty. So it's cacti and succulents, and I adore them. So yeah, if you want to get some, they're super cheap as well. I think they're like £1. They are £1 for this whole set of 5 repetitive designs. Okay, so let's go ahead. I probably will need to speed up this video just because otherwise it'd be too long. So let's go ahead and I hope you enjoy this. Okay, so I was thinking whether to leave it alone or try and fix it, and decided to go ahead and try and fix it. I find in general that the more I do to the hair, the less I like it, so it's a little bit of a risk-taking situation, but I will go ahead anyway and try and see. So basically I decided to add like a hair ribbon, like a bow, and see what happens. Now this ink pen that I'm using, the Pilot G-Tech C4, is water soluble, so it will move when it comes in contact with water, and so it might pull some of the ink into this and kind of give it some of that dark colors. So it kind of looks okay-ish, and I think I will leave it, and it works kind of well with the lip colors and the flowers. It kind of gives a little detail, so I might go on top and connect it here just to make it look like the ribbons are coming off this side, or I can just leave it like that. Maybe I'll just add a little detail just here, just to connect it like this. Does it look better? I think it kind of makes a little bit more sense now. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at this. Okay, so as you can see, you can try and correct some of your mistakes and just go with them rather than being upset that you have messed up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon.